Jeremy, Harris, thank you both so much for joining me to talk about the film The Iron Claw. I was so thoroughly impressed with the end result, I'll say, of what you guys did to prepare for these two roles here, playing the Von Erich brothers, or two of the Von Erich brothers, I will say. Um, Tell me first and foremost, what was the number one thing when it came to the art of professional wrestling that surprised you the most in this preparation? Because I think a lot of people have a lot of preconceived notions about wrestling, and then when they actually step foot into that squared circle, it's like, oh no, this really hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You want to go ahead, man? You take it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, I loved wrestling growing up, and I always thought that I always knew that there was like a performative sort of theatrical element to it, but I didn't quite realize how physically demanding and like high impact it was. Like as soon as we met, like I remember Jeremy and I rehearsed or learnt together for the first time out just outside of LA, and Chavo basically explained to us how most of it and most of the sort of act of it was doing it for each other. So like he said to me, grab my wrist, and he did like three backflips in a row. Do you remember that, Jeremy? He just like
Yeah.
he threw himself onto the floor and just like slammed himself down like three times in a row and made it look like I was the one doing it. And there was so much of that I didn't quite realize.
Yeah. Yeah, that was he was showing off, wasn't he?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I think I like my introduction to professional wrestling was kind of through like this process. I really didn't know very much about it. I had friends that were into it when I was younger, but I felt like I was always like had like very like peripheral understanding of it. And it was kind of the like I guess for me, I was like I knew what wrestlers looked like, and I knew they were doing flips and stuff like that. So I knew about sort of like I guess I assumed about the physical aspect or the athleticism of it. But for me, yeah, I didn't understand just how I guess like performative or theatrical it could be. I think how important sort of like storytelling is and drama and like how much time is invested in like building up these rivalries and how important it is to like connect directly with the audience and stuff like that. I think I thought of it more as just like I don't know, like a traditional combat sport or something like that. So for me it was really eye-opening, as Chavo explained, like the importance of the time in between the moves and the importance of really like connecting, I think, with the audience and stuff like that.
So in its own way, it's almost like you guys are a part of a theatrical action film at times, doing your own stunts, really, what it boils down to. Was there any wrestling move at all where it was like, I need somebody else to stand in for this, or did you guys do everything?
Uh, Pretty sure you did everything, Jeremy. I think there was a few I didn't do because I'm a wuss and I had a broke a toe and I didn't want to break another one. But there was a few the sort of wrestling doubles. We had an amazing stunt team on this, an amazing wrestling team that sort of made us look amazing. But there was one that was like really high and it was like an elbow slam, and I feel like there was just more like it was just looked way more impressive if they did it like an acrobatic on some acrobatic stuff.
Hmm.
But there was one that Jeremy did that I didn't like the fact that he did, and it sort of scared me that he did it, where he had to like go between someone's legs and his head and neck was so close to the ground as he did like a front flip.
Yep,
I
somersault.
remember watching
Yes.
it, the somersault one, and I just remember being like, "Why? No, this is not good that you've done that."
Yeah, I do.
Um,
I do feel like maybe that would have been one. It's weird. As that move was being explained to me, I was like, that sounds straightforward enough, and I think I can do that, and it'll be fine. I'm in good hands. Like all those guys we were wrestling with, the Freebirds and stuff, they're professional wrestlers, and so I was like, it'll be fine. We're gonna be fine. But I remember I watched playback on that same move, and yeah, I didn't. You don't feel how close your head is hitting the mat. But watching playback, I realized I was, yeah, maybe a couple inches away from having my neck kind of like snapped back on that one. Yeah.
I was talking with Sean, and he said that he had you guys do these matches, not okay, take, we got the shot, all right, reset. Like, he had you guys play this in full, essentially. So you guys were doing however many long minute matches, basically, those if it was the real thing. Am I right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we did a lot, like even outside of the ring. I think in the film there was like a lot of these sort of like single take kind of like tracking shots
Mm-hmm.
that our DP Matthias and Sean put together. And but yeah, in the ring, especially, I think we would do a couple different setups, but we would always try to get sort of like the entirety of the wrestling match, and the choreography in its entirety for each setup. So we would end up sort of like completing these matches. I don't know, maybe like a dozen times or something like that within a day, with the camera kind of moving about and doing multiple takes and stuff like that. Yeah.
Would you say that was like probably the most physically grueling element of acting that you've ever been a part of?
I think for me,
Yeah.
yeah, for
Yeah, for
sure.
sure,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
Also, you find that you forget on film that the first few takes are often the takes where everyone's figuring it out, the crew are figuring it out, folks figuring it out, cameras getting their sort of movements, and then you're like, okay, that was really are just like warm-ups for
Yeah.
the real thing. It's tough.
So ever since you guys have completed this film, I know it's been well received by the actual wrestling community. You guys had a lot of input also from, like you said, working with Chavo and such. Has anyone, other than like say Chavo, but has anyone from the outside reached out to you to offer any signs of respect, or has anyone given you guys praise that you're like, oh, that's pretty cool that this person saw it and thought it was good?
I think from the wrestling world, I mean, yeah, I mean there are a couple of guys. There were a couple of guys at our screening in LA that
John
were on
Cena was
set
there,
with
right?
us. John Cena
Oh,
was
John was
there.
there.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
Nice.
John Cena like it?
I don't
I would
know.
imagine he had to have liked it.
He was, yeah, he was being so nice before the screening. I'm sure he liked it. Let's just say he loved it.
You didn't hear from him
I didn't see him afterwards. I don't think he like
Oh,
ran off or
you couldn't see
anything.
him,
I
Jeremy?
couldn't see him. I just couldn't
Hey.
see him. But yes, he was there. He was very excited to see the film. And I know that Von Erichs meant a lot to him.
Yes.
I mean, so
Yes.
many wrestlers today. It seems that the Von Erichs, it's really interesting. Like my introduction to professional wrestling was kind of through the Von Erichs, so I learned a lot about them. But it's only now that it's like really becoming clear just how important they are to like all modern day kind of wrestlers. It seems that they kind of inspired the whole class of today as well.
Well, I think the fact that
Mm,
the story is one that presents these really crushing lows and how you can overcome them, not just in the sport of wrestling, but just in life in general. I think it's a great
Sure.
message that it sends to the wrestling community and to hopefully audiences who seek this film out when it comes to theaters this opening weekend. Jeremy and Harris, last question before we go. What is the number
Mm.
one thing that you're most proud of walking away from the Iron Claw?
Hmm.
hmm. Uh,
I don't know.
um,
I think I'm proud of kind of like I think what was like really so important in the film, and they didn't talk to Kevin very much. I mean, Sean got his like blessing and stuff before we started filming, but they didn't speak a whole lot. But I remember it was really important to Kevin, for it to be clear in the film just like how much love and respect there was between the brothers, and how important that bond was. And and I think, you know we were able to find that, and being able to spend time with Kevin now that he's seen the film, and being able to spend time with Carrie's daughters, after they've seen the film, and having them really like get in front of the film. I think that was really big for me. I had never played a real person before, and I was really like cautious and honestly a bit worried about taking this on because of that reason. You just, you know, you want to tell the story correctly and do justice. And so yeah, I think having all of them enjoy the film, and that was a big sort of accomplishment, I think, for myself, but for all of us and Sean, you know.
Yeah. Harris, same thing.
Same thing.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time here. Really, really appreciate, like I said, all the hard work you guys put into this. It shows up there on the screen, and I respect. I mean, you guys already have my respect, Harris. I told you, so many great roles you've been in. Jeremy, I freaking love The Bear, man. Amazing
oh, thanks,
show.
man.
And you guys are just continuing to just crush it. I think this is going to just be another of many wonderful opportunities that you guys have in your young and hopefully continuing prosperous career. So thank you both so much.
Thank you so much,
Thanks,
man.
man.
Appreciate it.